Listen to me. I'm not here to make you feel comfortable. I'm here to wake you up. Literally. Because the truth is, success don't sleep in. Winners don't hit the snooze button. Champions don't scroll social media before sunrise. They get up and get after it. I used to be like some of you, sleeping till 9, 10, 11, wondering why I was always behind, wondering why my dreams were outpacing my discipline. Until one day, I said enough is enough. If you want to win the day, you got to stop losing the morning. This statement is more than just a catchy phrase. It's a blueprint, a code, a reminder that the way you start your day has a direct impact on how your day unfolds. It's the wake-up call most people don't realize they need, because the truth is, too many people are losing the battle before they even step out of bed. Think about it. What's the first thing you do in the morning? Hit the snooze button, scroll your phone, lay in bed hoping motivation will magically appear? That's not how winners operate. That's how average people start average days that lead to average lives. And if you want greatness, if you truly want to win, you got to take ownership of the morning like your life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. The morning is sacred. It's the only part of the day that most people still have control over. Once the world wakes up, emails flood in, obligations pile up, distractions start pulling you in every direction. But in the morning, while the rest of the world is quiet, that's when your mind is freshest. That's when your soul is still and focused. That's when champions move. You can't control everything life throws at you, but you can control what you do between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. And that window, those early hours, are where momentum is created. It's not about being a morning person. It's about being a disciplined person, a focused person, a hungry person. Because hunger doesn't hit the snooze button. When you lose the morning, you start your day behind. You wake up late, you're rushing, you're stressed, you're reactive instead of proactive. You let the day punch you in the mouth before you've even had time to put your gloves on. But when you win the morning, you step into the day with clarity, with peace, with energy, and most importantly, with purpose. Waking up early isn't just about time, it's about intent. It's about creating space to do the things that matter before life gets in the way. Read, write, reflect, meditate, exercise, plan, prepare, create. Do the things that feed your soul and sharpen your mind. That's what high performers do. That's how greatness is built. Not in the spotlight, not in front of cameras, but in the early, quiet, lonely hours when nobody's watching. And let's be real, if you can't win the first battle of the day, what makes you think you're gonna win any of the bigger ones? If you can't get out of bed on time, how are you gonna run a business, build a legacy, raise a family, or chase down your dream? It starts with that first decision, that first moment when it's just you and the alarm clock. That's when you find out who you really are. Waking up early forces you to become intentional with your life. It requires you to go to bed with purpose. It requires planning. It requires sacrifice. But those sacrifices, they're investments. You're buying back time. You're investing in clarity. You're building the type of momentum that carries over into every other part of your day and your life. Winning the day doesn't start at 9 a.m. in a meeting. It doesn't start when you open your laptop or walk into the gym. It starts the second you wake up. It starts when you take control of the one thing that most people hand over without a fight, their morning. You don't need more time, you need more intention. You don't need more motivation, you need more structure. And that starts by taking full ownership of your morning, because the way you do the small things is the way you'll do everything. If you rise with purpose, discipline, and hunger, you will move through your day with the mindset of a winner. So remember this, you don't find success in the big moments. You create it in the small, consistent wins. And the most important win of all That moment when the alarm goes off and you say, let's go. Wake up early, take control, win the morning, and the day is already yours. You're not tired, you're just undisciplined. This line hits hard because it speaks a truth most people don't want to admit. It's easy to say, I'm tired. It's easy to blame exhaustion for not getting things done. But the deeper issue is often not physical fatigue, it's a lack of discipline. Real tiredness comes from pushing your limits, from working with intensity and purpose. But a lot of what people call tiredness is actually the weight of unfulfilled potential, guilt from procrastination, and the mental fog that comes from living without structure. Let's break it down. You wake up in the morning feeling tired. But why? You went to bed at a decent time. You weren't grinding through the night. So what's really going on? It's not your body that's giving out. It's your mindset. You've trained your mind to associate resistance with exhaustion. The moment something feels uncomfortable, your brain says, I'm tired. But in truth, you're just not used to doing hard things consistently. Discipline hasn't been developed. You haven't built the mental muscle to show up regardless of how you feel. Discipline is what gets you out of bed when your body wants to lay there. It's what pushes you to finish the workout, make the call, write the page, do the work, especially when you don't feel like it. Discipline is not about hype or motivation. It's about making a decision to follow through. It's about keeping promises to yourself when nobody's watching. Because let's be honest, motivation fades and feelings lie. But discipline shows up. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline just does the work. Now, let's flip the script. The people you admire, the high achievers, the relentless workers, the consistent producers, they're not operating because they're always energized. They're operating out of discipline. They don't wait to feel right. They act right, and the feelings follow. They understand that discipline creates energy. That momentum fuels motivation. You're not tired, you stagnate. And stagnation comes from inaction, not overwork. Think about how you feel after a hard workout. You're physically drained, but mentally, you're sharp. You feel alive. Why? Because doing hard things builds confidence. Following through on your commitments gives you pride. That's not exhaustion. That's growth. Real tiredness from real effort is fulfilling. But the kind of tired that comes from sitting on your dreams, that's a slow, silent death. It doesn't just kill your energy, it kills your identity. You might say, but I've got so much going on. And that may be true. Life is heavy sometimes. But even in the chaos, discipline can be your anchor. You don't need a perfect schedule. You just need a non-negotiable mindset. Something inside you that says, I don't miss. Whether I feel like it or not, I show up. And over time, you rewire your mind to push through the resistance instead of running from it. That's where real strength lives. Excuses are seductive. I'm tired is an excuse in disguise. It's a convenient way out. But every time you choose the excuse, you rob yourself of growth. You let yourself off the hook. And over time, that becomes a habit of quitting, of shrinking, of never reaching your potential. But every time you choose discipline instead, you build a habit of rising, of pushing, of winning. It's not that rest isn't important. It is. But rest should be earned. You don't need rest from doing nothing. You need rest to recover from pushing, grinding, growing. Don't confuse laziness with recovery. Don't let your comfort zone convince you that you're burnt out, when really, you just haven't been putting in the reps. The truth is, when you start living with discipline, you unlock a new level of energy. You wake up with purpose. You move through the day with urgency. You stop dragging and start leading. You become the type of person that other people look at and say, how do they do it all? And the answer isn't talent. It isn't luck. It's not some secret formula. It's discipline Plain and simple. So the next time you hear yourself say, I'm tired, stop. Ask yourself, am I really tired? Or am I just not disciplined enough to push through this moment? Am I letting feelings dictate my future, or am I choosing action over comfort? The ones who win don't always feel good, but they always show up. Because discipline isn't a feeling, it's a decision. While the world sleeps, you're building. This isn't just a motivational quote to post on Instagram. The principle, it's a mindset. It's the reality of what it takes to be uncommon in a world full of average. When most people are in bed, when the lights are off, when the noise of the world has quieted down, that's when the real ones go to work. That's when the focus, the discipline, the obsessed get into motion. Because they understand something most people miss. The quiet hours are the most powerful ones. See, there's something about early morning when it's still dark outside, when nobody's texting you, nobody's calling, no emails, no meetings, that gives you complete control over your environment. And that control is priceless. That's when you do the deep work. That's when you plan, prepare, create, and build the foundation for everything that's going to happen later in the day. The world may be asleep, but you're not just awake. You're alive. You're on offense. You're ahead. This isn't about being flashy or trying to look impressive. This is about putting in the reps when no one's watching. Because real success isn't born on stage. It's born in silence. It's built in obscurity. It's the result of hours, days, weeks, months, sometimes years of work that nobody applauds, nobody recognizes, and nobody understands. While the world is dreaming, you're turning your dream into a plan. While the world sleeps in, you're putting in extra reps. And when the sun finally rises, you're already 5 steps ahead. Look at the people who dominate in their field. Athletes, entrepreneurs, creators, leaders. They don't wait for the world to wake up to get started. They own the early hours. Kobe Bryant used to train at 4 a.m. because he wanted to get in an extra workout before his teammates even arrived. Jocko Willink, former Navy SEAL, posts his 4:30 a.m. watch every morning as a statement, discipline equals freedom. They're not early risers for attention. They're early risers because they're obsessed with maximizing their edge. That's the mindset. That's the separation. The average person uses the morning to snooze, to scroll, to stumble out of bed late and reactive. The uncommon person uses the morning to align, to attack, to advance. While others are still in bed complaining, you're laying bricks. You're writing the code, reading the book, running the miles, meditating, visualizing, sharpening your mind while the world is still asleep. That's where the gap starts to widen, day by day, inch by inch, until one day you're miles ahead and they can't figure out how you got there. But here's the part most people won't tell you. It's lonely. It's uncomfortable. Waking up at 4:30, 5 o'clock a.m. when your body wants to stay in bed, that's a battle. It's not glamorous. Nobody's cheering for you at that hour. There's no applause for writing your goals or reading 10 pages or grinding in silence. But that's exactly what separates the talkers from the doers, the disciplined from the distracted, the builders from the consumers. And let's be real, success isn't about doing what's easy. It's about doing what's necessary. If you want what 99% of people don't have, you have to be willing to do what 99% of people won't do. That means working when it's inconvenient, showing up when you're tired, being productive when nobody is watching. And the early morning gives you that edge. It gives you the space to be that version of yourself. It's not just about time either. It's about symbolism. When you get up early and put in the work, you're telling yourself, I'm serious. You're affirming your commitment. You're casting your vote for the person you want to become. And those votes add up. You start walking different, thinking different, believing different. And before long, that morning routine you used to dread becomes the most important part of your day. So yes, while the world sleeps, you're building. And that's exactly why you'll succeed. Because the life you want isn't built in broad daylight. It's built when the excuses are asleep, when the competition is still snoring, when it's just you, your work, and your will. And when the rest of the world finally wakes up, you'll already be living what they're still dreaming about. Don't hit snooze on the alarm, or your life. It sounds simple, even a little cliche, but it cuts deeper than most people realize. The snooze button isn't just a feature on your alarm clock. It's a reflection of your mindset. Every time you hit snooze, you're making a decision. You're saying later, not now, I'm not ready. And over time, that decision doesn't just affect your mornings. It becomes a pattern, a habit, a way of living. And that habit bleeds into every area of your life. When you hit snooze, you're not just buying yourself 10 more minutes in bed. You're selling off your momentum. You're giving up discipline. You're pushing purpose to the side in exchange for temporary comfort. And here's the dangerous part. When that becomes a habit, it doesn't stop at the alarm clock. You start hitting snooze on your workouts, on your goals, on your responsibilities, on your dreams. You start delaying everything that actually matters. It becomes easier to say, I'll start tomorrow. I'll apply next week. I'll launch it when I feel ready. But the truth is, the person who always waits for the perfect moment is the one who never moves. That extra 10 minutes in bed might not seem like a big deal, but it's a symbol. It represents hesitation. It rewards execution. Think about the energy you bring into your day when the first thing you do is delay. You're already starting behind. You're already saying no to responsibility before you've even gotten up. You've told your goals you're not that important. You've told your future you can wait. But can it? Can your health wait? Can your vision wait? Can your purpose afford another day of being ignored? People think life is about big moments, the huge wins, the big breaks. But in reality, life is shaped by the small decisions you make every single day. The decision to get up when the alarm goes off. The decision to go to the gym when you don't feel like it. The decision to open a laptop and work when you're tired. That's what builds confidence. That's what creates momentum. That's what changes your life. The snooze button feels harmless, but it kills self-respect. Every time you tell yourself you're gonna get up early and then you don't, you're breaking a promise to yourself. And when you break enough promises, you stop believing in your own word. That lack of trust in yourself starts to show up everywhere. You hesitate, you second guess, you procrastinate, and you don't even know why, but deep down, it's because you train yourself to expect inconsistency. You've let comfort win too many times. But here's the flip side. When you stop hitting snooze, not just on your alarm, but on your life, you start becoming unstoppable. You wake up when you say you will. You show up even when it's hard. And with each follow through, your confidence grows. Your belief in yourself gets stronger. Your actions start to align with your words. And that's when real transformation happens. It's not about being perfect. It's about building the muscle of showing up, of doing what you said you'd do, of treating your time and your life as something worth honoring. That's what high performers do. They don't wait until they feel like it. They act first. Feelings follow action. You want energy? Get up and move. You want motivation? Start the task. You want momentum? Stop hitting pause on your potential. When the alarm goes off, that's your first victory of the day. That's your first battle. And you have the chance to win it or lose it. And the way you handle that first decision sets the tone for everything else. So don't treat it lightly. Don't make it optional. Make it a standard. Your future depends on it. Because life won't wait for you to be ready. Opportunities won't wait for you to feel motivated. And greatness won't show up at your door if you're still under the covers. So don't just wake up. Rise, move, execute. Show the world you're ready. And whatever you do, don't hit snooze. Wake up early. Win the morning. Win the morning. Win the day. This principle is simple, but it's one of the most powerful habits that separates high performers from the rest. How you start your morning determines how the rest of your day plays out. It's like setting the tone for a song. If the first note is off, the whole rhythm gets shaky. But when you start strong, when you own the first hour of your day with focus, intention, and energy, you carry that strength into everything else you do. Think about the mornings where you overslept, rushed to get ready, skipped breakfast, and ran out the door in chaos. Those mornings feel heavy. Your head isn't clear. Your decisions are reactive, not intentional. You spend the entire day trying to catch up, and you never quite feel ahead. That's what happens when you lose the morning. You start behind, and it's hard to recover. Now contrast that with the morning where you get up early. You have time to move your body, to read, to reflect, to plan. You don't just react to the day, you own it. That calm, that clarity, that discipline, it sets the pace. That's what it means to win the morning. And when you win the morning, everything else becomes easier. You're more focused. You're more confident. You make sharper decisions. You don't chase the day follows your lead. Waking up early isn't just about the time on the clock, it's about what you do with the time. Anyone can wake up early and waste that extra hour scrolling on their phone. That's not winning. That's just being awake. Winning the morning means using that time strategically. It means putting your energy toward things that build you. It's reading to grow your mind. It's journaling to clear your head. It's stretching or exercising to energize your body. It's reviewing your goals so you stay aligned with your purpose. It's feeding yourself physically, mentally, and spiritually before the world makes demands on you. When you do this consistently, something starts to shift. You begin to trust yourself. You start the day with a win, and that small win builds momentum. Success is a game of stacking wins. It's not about one big action. It's about a series of small daily choices that add up over time. And the first win you get each day is the one you earn the moment you wake up and take control of your time. That's where the compound effect kicks in. One strong morning becomes a strong week. One strong week becomes a strong month. A strong month becomes a strong year. And a strong year becomes a transformed life. The most successful people in the world, athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, leaders, they all have one thing in common. They don't leave their mornings to chance. They don't let the alarm clock be a suggestion. They don't treat the early hours like leftovers. They treat that time like gold, because it is. They use it to sharpen themselves before the day starts demanding things from them. Before the meetings, before the emails, before the distractions. That's their time to lock in, to focus, to build their edge. And here's the best part. Winning in the morning doesn't require talent. It doesn't require luck. It just requires intention. It requires you to make a decision that your time matters, that your goals matter, that you matter, and then back that decision with action every single day. It's not always going to be easy. Some mornings you'll be tired. Some mornings your bed will feel more comfortable than your purpose. But this is where discipline matters more than desire. This is where commitment beats comfort. Because every time you get up early and follow through, you're proving to yourself that you're in control. You're telling your brain, we do hard things. We show up no matter what. So if you want to win the day, stop leaving your morning up to chance. Build a routine that energizes you, that aligns with your values, and that moves you forward. Do it consistently, and you'll start to feel the power of that early momentum. Because the truth is simple. If you dominate the morning, the rest of the day doesn't stand a chance. You'll already be ahead, mentally, physically, emotionally. You won't just survive the day, you'll win it. Discipline in the dark creates results in the light. That line might not sound glamorous, but it's the truth that champions live by. Discipline isn't built in front of crowds or under bright lights. It's built in silence. It's built when nobody's watching, when no one is clapping, and when the only person who knows whether you showed up or not is you. The dark moments, early mornings, late nights, quiet rooms, lonely decisions, that's where transformation starts. That's where greatness begins to take root. Too many people want the results without the repetition. They want the spotlight, but they don't want to grind in the shadows. They want success, but not the silence that precedes it. But the ones who make it to the top, they understand that the process is private before the reward is public. They embrace the hidden hours because they know that's where separation happens. It's not about proving anything to others. It's about keeping promises to yourself when no one's holding you accountable. Think about this. When you go to the gym and nobody sees you, do you still give 100%? When you're reading those books, writing your plan, making sacrifices, waking up early, who are you doing it for? Because if the answer is only for applause or approval, you'll burn out. The people who last are the ones who are driven by something deeper: purpose, standard, integrity. They train in the dark because they know the light is coming. And when it does, they'll be ready. The discipline in the dark is what forges confidence. Not fake confidence that comes from hype or validation, but real confidence that comes from knowing you did the work. You know how many reps you've put in. You know how many times you showed up when it was inconvenient. And that kind of self-belief is earned quietly, daily. The dark is where you build habits. You build routines. You master the basics. It's not sexy work. It's consistent work. Waking up early, honoring your schedule, saying no to distractions, staying on your grind even when no progress is visible. That's the part most people skip. But what they don't realize is that every great performance is just a reflection of hours of preparation. Every win you see in the light was rehearsed hundreds of times in the dark. Look at any high performer in any field and you'll see the same pattern: relentless commitment behind closed doors. Take someone like Serena Williams. People see the trophies, but they didn't see the thousands of hours on empty courts. Or someone like Elon Musk. People see the headlines, but not the years of quiet failure, long nights, and brutal decisions. What makes them different isn't talent alone, it's discipline when no one's watching, when quitting would be easier, when excuses would be justified. And here's the truth: you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your preparation. If you haven't trained in the dark, you won't perform in the light. When pressure hits, when life gets loud, when everyone's watching, that's not the time to start preparing. That's the time to rely on what you've already built. That's when your discipline has to take over. And the only way to have that kind of discipline is to train it in silence. Some people avoid the dark because it feels lonely. But solitude isn't a curse, it's a training ground. The dark is where you hear your own voice, where you confront your fears, where you find out what you're really made of. Don't run from that. Embrace it. Use it. Let it shape you. Because when the light finally comes and the opportunities show up and the moment arrives, you won't have to fake it. You won't be scrambling to rise to the occasion. You'll already be ready, prepared, sharpened, grounded. You'll be able to stand in the spotlight with peace because you know what it took to get there. Discipline in the dark is hard, but it's also sacred. It's where the real work happens. It's where you turn intentions into action. It's where you stop talking and start becoming. And if you're consistent in the dark, the light won't be a surprise. It'll be your stage.